Have you ever heard of a crime that began as a kidnapping, but ended in blood? About a man who wasn't a criminal, just the friendly neighbor everyone trusted. What you're about to hear is a true story from West Germany, 1964. A case that terrified an entire community. Viewer discretion advised. And before we begin, don't forget to subscribe. Darker stories are coming soon. Wiesbaden, West Germany, February 1964. 7-year-old Timo Reinelt went out to play in the neighborhood park and never came back. At first, everyone thought he'd simply wandered off. But as hours passed, panic grew, and soon, police began a massive search. 2 days later, the family received a strange letter. Someone claimed to have kidnapped Timo and demanded ransom money for his safe return. But something about the handwriting felt familiar. Days turned into nights with no trace of the boy. Then, in a horrifying twist, Timo's body was found buried in a garden, just a few meters from his own home. The killer was the family's neighbor, a man named Klaus Leinert. Klaus was known as kind and quiet. He even played with children in the neighborhood. But behind his calm smile hid something sinister. On the day of the crime, he lured Timo into his house. When the child began crying and screaming, Klaus panicked and strangled him to death. He then buried the body in his garden and wrote the ransom letter himself to mislead police. It didn't take long before detectives noticed the handwriting matched Klaus's own. He confessed to everything and was sentenced to life in prison in 1968. The case of Timo Reinelt shocked Germany, not just because of its brutality, but because the monster lived right next door. Sometimes evil doesn't come from strangers in the dark, but from the people we trust the most. Would you ever suspect your neighbor could be capable of something like this? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more true stories from the shadows.